Okay, so that's what we can come to you. We have exit here. I pick a meeting there. Usually the center sit here, so you sit between the hallway or something. But you can, wherever you sit is fine. You can sit in the.
Let me talk more.
You're doing that, and you're doing else too. You do Doug's big thing, and then also that part of it. That's all.
The agenda that's printed.
Yeah. Manufacturing facilities.
Yeah, right after they picked them, right down here, there's two things. I heard that.
We should go together, we're in there.
Yeah. And you can do the same call if you want. You want to wait for the, they have to read it, so what happens? Okay. Well, you want to, want to be Paul and have a, yeah, I think so. All right. Yeah. Yeah, that's all. In this program, we need to be,
Good afternoon, everybody. I wish each and every one of you, all here and all watching, the very best of this good day. I have a few announcements to make. The first one is obvious, and that is that our program is delayed. Let me explain, if I can. We usually have an Eagle Court of Honor almost every year. We have not had one in 3 years. because of COVID. And this is the first time where we're doing it to a virtual audience as well. In the meantime, some of those people who put all the work together and left, and we have new people, and so we have been working very diligently, and I personally am a dinosaur and have great difficulties with typing emails and all. So we've had a little scramble about putting this script together. Despite COVID and all the changes, our troop has continued its activity, and while converting to virtual in some instances, we've maintained our program. We've had advancement sessions, camping, zip lining, wall climbing, hikes, and our program has continued very well. We have a couple of changes as a result of time and schedules, and major one is that Doug Peterson, our current scoutmaster, was unavoidably drawn away, and so Steve Scrimshaw, who was his predecessor as scoutmaster, is going to participate in the ceremony. There also will be a couple of changes which hopefully will not interrupt difficulties. So, let me start. This is a special day for 3 young men. They have earned the highest rank in scouting, the rank of Eagle Scout. Throughout their teenage years, amidst all their other interests and goals and the many demands on their time and energy, they have focused and worked and sacrificed to achieve a goal that very few achieve. I'd like to invite everyone here before our ceremony begins to join us downstairs afterwards. We will have refreshments. You'll have the opportunity to meet and talk with the Eagle Scouts and lots of our other scouts, and they may indeed have some interesting stories to tell you. So let's begin our program. We'll have a sounding of the colors, and then the troop will enter, preceded by the colors and the Eagle Scouts, and they will post the colors, and then our new Eagle Scouts will lead us all in the recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance, the Scout Oath, and the Scout Law. So let our ceremony begin with the sounding of the colors. Go ahead.
Scout is
Thank you. Please be seated. I'd like to acknowledge the very many individuals who volunteer their time and talents to plan and execute our scouting program. Our scoutmaster, our assistant scoutmasters who lead the troop on a weekly basis, the members of our troop committee who administer the program, overseeing the registration, the fundraising, advancement, and the like. And their names are listed in your program. Of course, that's not all. I'm sorry. It's very important to recognize the families who raised these young men and who have supported them and shaped them, and who also often provide much of the adult leadership that the program runs, that runs the program. I'm going to call now on Jeff Waldron. Jeff is the chairman of our troop committee. He has been there for over a decade, I guess. And prior to that, Jesus Christ. Prior to that, Jeff supported for many years the Cub Scout program here in Sherborn. So, Jeff?
You sit here, Charlie? Before I start, we're going to have the opening prayer with John Hudson.
Welcome, everyone. It's nice to see you all back after too long away. It's hard to believe it's been 2 years since we've had one of these. And so I want to just, before praying today, I just want to offer a deep note of thanksgiving for Charlie Williams. Can we all have a round of applause for Charlie? Uh-oh.
My apologies.
Don't worry, Charlie.
Okay, thank you. I'm very sorry for that. The script that I was working on and my memory had it hacked up. Didn't get it right.
You're doing great, Charlie. Don't worry. And I've said this before, if you've heard me, but I was a Cub Scout. I won the Pinewood Derby, one of the proudest moments of my life. My sister Claire was the treasurer for the Boy Scouts of New Hampshire for several years. She got married at their retreat center up there. And one of the reasons that I have a lot of respect for the Scouts is because they're really the last organization that does citizenship education. They create good citizens. They create good communities. And I think it's safe to say that we need young men like these more than ever. And so we're just really grateful. And in particular, Jack and Gordon and Ethan, I just want to congratulate you on planning and doing all the work and getting to the point where you're recognized as Eagle Scouts today. I do want to point out, if you look at the list in the book, you know, we're Troop 1, and so only 23 years after the first Eagle Scout was honored, the first one was named here in 1934. So you stand with some pretty important company. So guys, let's start with a prayer, and we can go into the next part of our service. God, we thank you for the gift of this day. We especially thank you for the gift of these three young men, for Jack and Gordon, for Ethan, for all the work they've put in over the years, for the effort, for their commitment to scouting and the values that it stands for. We thank you for their families who have raised them up and raised them well. We thank you for all the families here today and all the boys. And God, as we kind of move into this hour and are your people in the world, remind us of the importance of community, of working for and with each other, of supporting our town and our state and our nation and our world, and being committed to making them a better place for all people. And so let that spirit be alive here today, and let it mark all of our work together. Amen. All right.
So now it's time to introduce the young man we're honoring today. Stand, young man. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pleasure that I introduce Jack Worcester, Gordon Goldberger, and Ethan Lynch. You get to stand later, so you can sit down now. So let's give them a hand of applause. Congratulations on your many accomplishments. I'd like to mention 3 things about the Eagle Service Project. That is the final, as you know, biggest project and most demanding step in earning the Eagle rank. And as many people don't know, the project is really about project leadership. It's not only about accomplishing a noteworthy project, but it's really learning management skills, which means you have to secure funding, get approvals of Concom or other people in town if it's a trails project. So it really requires planning, leadership, and accomplishment of a project. So the intent is really teaching leadership and building the project. So all 3 of these guys have completed ambitious and interesting projects and will benefit the town and the community as a whole. And if you go downstairs, reception afterwards, I'm sure they'll probably have some pictures up there showing you projects they did, and the younger scouts probably were big helpers in most of the projects. So if you were, you know what's involved, but I would encourage the younger scouts to look at it, and hopefully you'll be doing this in a year or 2 from now too. So the second part is it's really about leadership. So I want to thank these 3 gentlemen for everything they've done for Troop 1. They make it a fun and a worthwhile experience for everyone in the troop, particularly leading the younger scouts. That's an important part about being a leader. And last, but certainly not least, I want to thank the parents. These young men obviously have contributed a lot to the troop, but many, many parents and other adults are involved in going to camps and doing trips and everything else. So the families have given just as much to the troop as the boys have. So that's why we have such a successful program and great participants. So we're very fortunate. So now I'll turn it back to Charlie.
Thank you, Jeff. Each of our Eagles was asked to select a person who knows them well to speak on their behalf. And Jack Worcester asked our former Scoutmaster, Steve Scrimshaw, to speak for him. So, Steve.
When Jack Worcester entered the troop in 2014, he was a shy, self-effacing kid. He worked steadily over 7 years, going through rank advancement. He did community service projects, served in leadership positions, and of course, he earned 21 merit badges and completed an Eagle project. For all the boys, this requires considerable perseverance, all while they're going through many changes in their lives. In all my encounters with Jack, he always did his best to complete the task set before him. If you asked him to do something, you knew he would follow through with the task, do it to the best of his ability, and it would get done. It's not just me. Other adult leaders noted this commitment and followed through as well. All the scouts knew this about Jack, too. It's one of the reasons I sometimes thought of Jack as a scout. He's always been thoughtful and sensitive to the needs of others, and you could count on Jack to do the right thing. Among his leadership positions was that of senior patrol leader. I know from talking with Jack that in large part due to his quiet nature, this was initially challenging for him. But again, Jack worked through this, grew as a leader, and he brought older and younger scouts together. He finished his tenure with respect by all. After he finished as senior patrol leader, he worked as a troop guide, helping younger scouts to move through the phases and levels of scouting. Jack also developed and strengthened his connection with the outdoors. When his first crack at the Philmont Trek was stymied by wildfires in New Mexico, he went on a week-long canoeing and hiking trek in the Adirondacks. The following year, he did get to do the Philmont Trek, the capstone experience for Jack as it is for many boys. While Jack has enjoyed many fruits of scouting, he is still quiet by nature and humble as well. His demeanor belies his many accomplishments over that time. In addition to scouting, Jack ran cross-country and track while at DS. The only thing that interrupted his string of honors courses at DS were his AP courses. They include AP Calculus, AP History, AP Government, AP Latin, AP Statistics, and one AP course in which Jack took particular pride was AP Physics. Now he's about to complete his freshman year majoring in physics at Boston University. I recall speaking with Charlie Williams about 4 years ago regarding the difference that scouting can make for an individual and how to measure success. He said scouting isn't just about rank advancement and earning your eagle, but more importantly, it's developing and nurturing confident and caring young men with the skills for moving into adulthood. Jack has reached the highest rank in scouting, and as much as any scout I've known, he embodies what it means to be a successful scout. The whole troop can be very proud of Jack, and I'm proud to present him today.
Thank you, Steve. Greg Kennan, Assistant Scoutmaster, Merit Badge Counselor, is the person that Gordon selected to speak for him.
Thank you, Charlie. Good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to be here and see so many old friends. Even more so, it's an honor to be here speaking on this occasion celebrating Gordon Goldberger's achievement of the rank of Eagle Scout. As Charlie said, I'm Greg Kennan. I was an Assistant Scoutmaster and Merit Badge Counselor in the troop for some 12 years. I'm also the proud father of 2 Eagle Scouts. And please forgive the informality of my dress, but it's kind of the best I can do under the circumstances. During my time with the troop, I have observed Gordon's approach to scouting, his work ethic, and his interactions with troop leaders, fellow scouts, and members of the community. Gordon is entirely deserving of joining the ranks of the many fine Eagle Scouts that the troop has produced. If I had to describe Gordon in a few words, they would be solid, dependable, and there when you need him. His work with me on the rigorous Eagle Scout merit badges always was thorough, complete, and on time, and he always stuck it through to the end. One example of Gordon's fine work on his trail to Eagle is the DS Boosters website. While I was counseling Gordon on the Citizenship in the Community merit badge, I learned that the boosters wanted someone to redo their website. Gordon was the troop webmaster at the time, and I asked him if he would like to devote the required 8 hours to the boosters website. The results were most impressive. Before Gordon got involved, the boosters website was, well, let's say it was not quite so nearly professional looking and aesthetically pleasing as it is today. He stuck with it too, way beyond the requirements of the badge. He's been the boosters webmaster ever since. You all should take a look. It looks like the work of a professional web designer. I don't know what they're going to do after Gordon graduates. I'd like to relate 2 other examples showing the kind of young man Gordon is. One is particular and one is more general. In the particular example, in the spring of 2019, I had arranged for a group of the Scouts working on the Citizenship in the Community merit badge to attend the annual Sherborn Advisory Committee hearing, observe the proceedings, and then have lunch with some of the advisory committee members to discuss that aspect of town government. As it turned out, the advisory hearing was held during the DS basketball team's historic march to the state championship. As the playoff-filled weekend approached, one by one, the Scouts bailed on the advisory committee meeting. Only Gordon and one other Scout, Jack Worcester, by the way, came to the meeting. I am positive that Gordon would rather have gone to the exciting basketball game instead of the technical and somewhat tedious advisory hearings. But Gordon had agreed to come, and he honored his commitment. In so doing, he saved me and the troop from the embarrassment that would have occurred if no one had showed up. I was very impressed with his integrity and his adherence to the principle of keeping one's word. The second, more general example is that I do not recall ever having to reprimand Gordon for his behavior at a Scout function, and I don't remember any other leader doing so. This alone makes him a standout among Scouts, even among our many Eagles, and reflects his Eagle-worthy character. So what does this all mean? What does it mean to achieve the rank of Eagle Scout? I'd like to offer a couple of thoughts. First, Gordon, you now are a member of a group with some very special shared experiences, shared memories, and shared values. That's very valuable. Soon after my son Jeff went off to college, he sat down in class next to a student he recognized from his dorm. It didn't take long before they learned that they both were Eagle Scouts. They've become friends and have been so ever since. Same with my son David. Through his roommate, he's recently become friendly with an Eagle from Rhode Island, and they've spent a lot of time comparing notes on their trips to Camp Yagug and the White Mountain trails they've both hiked. Am I saying that Jeffrey and David automatically became friends with these other young men solely because they were Eagles? No. But they do have that in common, and I'm sure that was one factor in their becoming friends. In these times, when so many people are intent on focusing on what makes us different from one another, it's important and comforting to have something in common, something shared, something that shows we're more alike than different. But the more important thing, Gordon, is what you learned about yourself. You learned that you had it in you. Before you transformed the Boosters website or built the bridge at Leland Mill Pond so that our neighbors could enjoy some of our beautiful natural resources in town, I bet you didn't know that you had it in you to do those things. Your parents knew you had it in you. Scout leaders knew you had it in you. Your teachers knew you had it in you. But maybe you didn't quite know you had it in you until you actually went out and did those things. Now you know. You have it in you, Gordon. You have it in you to go to Drexel University, to become an electrical engineer, and really to do whatever it is you want to do. And you'll do great. That, I suggest, is the most important thing you will carry away from your Scout experience. So I'll conclude by saying it's been a pleasure to get to know Gordon and to work with him on his trail to Eagle. His achievement reflects his dedication, hard work, intelligence, and the support of Betsy, Gary, and the rest of his family. Please join me in congratulating Gordon and wishing him all the best in college and all his future endeavors.
Thank you, Greg. A wonderful testimonial to a fine young man. Dave Capillion is another one of our loyal adult, long-term, active adult leaders, assistant scoutmaster, and father of budding scout. So Dave, please speak for Ethan.
Thank you, Charlie. Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to speak on behalf of Ethan. It's really an honor to be able to be here and recognize this considerable achievement of earning the highest Scout rank of Eagle. I think the first time I met Ethan was I think, fall of 5th grade when Alex invited him over along with Brendan to play some football. And I see these two bruisers come in, and Alex leads them out to the backyard. And, of course, they're playing tackle football. And, they're out there for maybe 20, 30 minutes. And I go out, see how they're doing, and invite them back in for a snack. And Ethan could not have been more well-mannered and respectful. And I think that experience just kind of sums up in a small way Ethan, because, you notice him first for his height, but you remember him for his character. That speaks a lot to his parents, of course, but it also is, I think, reflective of the people that Ethan associates himself with, obviously like-minded people in the troop, and, the influence of scouting itself. Speaking of scouting, I took part in a lot of campouts in my time, and Ethan, of course, was there often. And, the same is true. He was always somebody who was someone the kids looked up to. He acted as a leader, but also very, rambunctious to a point, but never over the top. And, really when he assumed the leadership role of senior patrol leader, that's really when I saw him step into that leadership role even more. I'd say that, Ethan, you have a competitive streak within you. He's active in sports, but he brings that competitiveness in, only a positive way. He has a lot of energy, and when he's leading the kids during scout meetings in maybe games or things like that, he really gets the kids into it. Everybody gets into it, even the adults, because his enthusiasm is infectious. And I think that has really helped shape a lot of the younger scouts and keep them involved. And it's scouts like Ethan that have show that kind of character and lead by example to keep the scouts interested in the program. And that's in no small part to you, Ethan. As he moves forward in the next chapter of his career at Pace, I fully expect him to continue to exhibit the qualities of an Eagle Scout, and I wish you nothing but the best. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dave. One of the great values of scouting is its contribution to the community. And we are every time honored by having representatives of the community come and participate in our program. Because they are often public figures that have many commitments, their schedules sometimes get very tight. So we're going to make a little deviation in our program, and we're going to have 3 representatives of the community from our state senate, our representative, and from our town make their presentations now, and we will then have the charge and award to our Eagle Scouts after that. So I'd like to introduce Senator Becca Roush.
Thank you so much, Charlie. Good afternoon. It is a pleasure and a privilege to be here with all of you, especially with you. One of the very best parts of my role as your state senator is to recognize and uplift people who strengthen our communities in their own ways. It is particularly wonderful to do this when the people displaying their deep commitments to community are young people. Thank you Jack, Gordon, and Ethan, for your service displayed in so many ways, and especially through your remarkable Eagle Scout projects, which in turn display even further commitment to community through community spirit building and dedication to the environment and enjoyment of our natural resources. I know I speak for everyone gathered today when I say that we can't wait to see what you'll do going forward and what the future has in store for each of you. It is my privilege to present each of you with a citation from the Massachusetts Senate. Your names are thus recorded in the official records of the Senate in honor of your achievements in achieving the rank of Eagle Scout. With these citations, I offer my most sincere congratulations to all of you. And each citation is exactly the same, so I'm not going to read all three of them because that would be heavily redundant. So we're going to just read one of them. But know that each of you will have one of these in your packets of goodies to take with you after today's ceremony. Commonwealth of Massachusetts State Senate Official Citation. Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Jack Worcester, Gordon Goldberger, and Ethan Lynch in recognition of your outstanding achievement in attaining the highest rank in scouting, Eagle Scout. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends its best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to, and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate. And it is indeed signed by the Senate President, Karen Spilka, by our clerk, Michael Hurley, and myself as your state senator. And each of them will be waiting for you over here on the piano. Again, with these citations, it is really a pleasure and a privilege to offer my sincerest congratulations to all of you, and also to your parents, your scout leaders, your family and friends who helped you reach this moment and become the young adults you are today. Congratulations.
Becca, thank you very, very much for presenting these citations to our scouts and for your presence. Now I'd like to not necessarily introduce, because he's come so often and supported us for so long, but Representative David Linsky, a good friend and a longtime supporter.
Thank you, Charlie. And Charlie, in particular, thank you for your dedication to this troop and to this town and this community for so very many years. You folks are very lucky to have Charlie. You really are. I'm going to talk a little bit about these boys and what they've accomplished, but if you'll just indulge me for a minute. This is step one in what I'm calling my Sherborn farewell tour. Because of redistricting, unfortunately, I'm losing the town of Sherborn out of my district at the end of this year. But Sherborn will remain in my district for the rest of this term, and I assure you I still stand ready, willing, and able to assist this wonderful, wonderful community that has accepted me so very kindly over the past 23 years. It's been very special. Out of the 4,200 people in Sherborn, I know 4,000 of them personally at this point. So I looked at the program, and I counted up that these three boys are numbers 78, 79, and 80 Eagle Scouts since I became the state rep in 1999 from Sherborn. And I think I've been at every single one of these Eagle Scout ceremonies. So only Charlie Williams has more, I think. But then, of course, Charlie, I know, was here. If you look in your program, in 1934 for Robert Dawson's Eagle Scout ceremony. Were you the scoutmaster at the time there, Charlie? I think that he rode the horse and buggy to high school along with John Elliott, I think. But no, this is a big deal, and I really, really appreciate being here, because the three of you young men have accomplished something very special. You really have. Being an Eagle Scout, you may not realize it now, but it is something that is going to stay with you for the rest of your life. I can tell you, I've hired a lot of people, both in private business and at the State House through the years. And you go through these resumes and you look at them very, very quickly. And you decide which pile you're going to put them in. Are they going to be in the interview pile or the non-interview pile? And I could tell you, when I see Eagle Scout down at the bottom of the resume, that goes into the interview pile. And I know a lot of people who do the same thing, because what it tells you is that the holder of that distinguished honor is somebody who works hard and is trustworthy and knows how to lead. And those are all great qualities, whether or not you're picking a person or you're picking an employee. So believe me, what you have accomplished by becoming an Eagle Scout today is something that you will really appreciate as you go forth into college and as you go forth into the working world and raising your own family someday. So congratulations to each and every one of you. And congratulations also to the parents of these three fine young men, because I know it's not easy. I only made Webelow myself out of Cub Scouts. And I think that each of my three sons barely got out of the orange shirts, the orange T-shirts, I think. It takes a lot, and there are a whole lot of other pressures and obligations and temptations for teenagers in high school. The last thing that, sometimes they probably want to do is to go to a Boy Scout meeting or work on their projects or get a merit badge. You've got sports, you've got cars, you've got jobs, you've got girls, you've got everything else, all the other things, but you guys stuck through it. And you should be proud, and your parents should be proud. So in recognition of this achievement, the Massachusetts House of Representatives passed resolutions that are in the official records of the Massachusetts House. And each of them had a resolution in their name. Again, like Senator Roush did, I'll just read one of them. And there were 3 resolutions congratulating Gordon Goldberger, Jack Worcester, and Ethan Lynch on receiving the Eagle Scout Award of the Boy Scouts of America. And whereas each of them is a member of Boy Scouts of the United States of America, Troop 1 in Sherborn, Massachusetts, and whereas Boy Scout has earned the prestigious rank of Eagle Scout, and whereas the exemplary Scout has reflected great credit upon himself, his family, Troop 1, and the Boy Scouts of the United States of America, as well as his community and the Commonwealth, therefore be it resolved that the members of the Massachusetts House of Representatives hereby join with his fellow Scouts, family, and friends in paying honor and tribute to them for their great achievement in earning the Eagle Scout Award of the Boy Scouts of America, and extend to them their sincere congratulations and best wishes for continued success in future endeavors, and be it further resolved that a copy of these resolutions be forwarded by the clerk of the House of Representatives to each of them. House of Representatives adopted actually January 5th, 2022. Ronald Mariano, Speaker of the House, Stephen James, Clerk of the House, and it's offered by myself, your state representative, Representative David Paul Linsky. Congratulations to each of you. I'm going to leave these over here for you. I know Senator Roush has the Senate citation, and I know Senator Markey has flags there for you as well that flew over the United States Capitol. This is a big achievement. Congratulations to each and every one of you. And I understand that there's a couple more Eagle Scout ceremonies coming up in June and maybe July, so I'll be back, and congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David, for that testimonial to the value of scouting. Just imagine what it'd be like if you got Dave and I sitting around the campfire telling stories. I wouldn't believe that one about the horse and buggy, though. I'm not sure whether we're going to get into a number counting game, but I suspect that Paul DeRensis has covered just about as many Eagle Scout ceremonies here. And he has been a great value to us and to our town, and he has certainly favored and supported the scouting program here. He's done a great deal of good for our community, and that, of course, is why we have a scout oath and a scout law. And all these young men are going to be guided. Whether they make Eagle or not, they're going to be guided by the oath and the law. And they are going to do good in this world. And this world, as we all know, surely needs it. So, Paul, please.
Thank you, Charlie. I think this is my 29th year of attending Eagle Courts of Honor. It is an honor for me to be here. I'm here as a representative of all the residents of the town of Sherborn to honor and to give recognition to our three Eagles, but also to accept on behalf of the community the gifts of community service projects that each Eagle Scout has made to the community. So each Eagle Scout, as part of this program, performs hours of community service. And as part of that, it benefits the community and it benefits the Eagle. So I'd like to mention those projects because we're proud of them and we're happy that they were done for the benefit of the community. Jack built a recycling shed at the transfer station here in Sherborn. Gordon rebuilt a bridge at Leland Pond. And Ethan worked on focus groups and surveys at Dover Sherborn to figure out what works best for students, for products and services. The Select Board of Sherborn, of which I'm a member, and by the way, Jeff Waldron is a member also, serves with me. The Select Board value the importance of community service and honor and value the good works that each Eagle Scout has done for the benefit of the whole community. So this is to thank you for those projects and that work that you did. We thank the Boy Scout program and its leaders. We thank the parents who helped make these contributions happen. So each Eagle Scout is, in the view of the community, a credit to the Boy Scouts, a credit to your troop, and a credit to our community. We hope that the community spirit behind the community service that shines forth from these Eagle Scout projects will continue to be done by you and continue to produce more community service all the days of your life, wherever you may live whatever path you take in your life, remember the lessons of this Eagle Scout program and remember the importance of serving your community. In recognition of their achievement, a proclamation has been issued by the Select Board. All three proclamations are the same, so I'll read one. Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Sherborn, a proclamation. Whereas Jack, Gordon, Ethan, has earned the rank of Eagle Scout, whereas this accomplishment symbolizes his creative example of service, strong leadership, organizational skills, which have made a difference in our community. And whereas Jack, Gordon, and Ethan have demonstrated their ability to act on a goal and establish a personal desire and tenacity to follow through successfully. Now, therefore, we, the Select Board of the Town of Sherborn, on behalf of all its citizens, extend their congratulations and best wishes on the occasion of the Eagle Scout Awards ceremony, in witness whereof we have caused the seal of the town to be affixed to this proclamation on the 2nd day of December. So we act quicker than the state legislature. And it's signed by the Select Board. I will leave it on the piano, one for each of you. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you all for being here. We're now about to reach the center of our ceremony, the presentation of the charge to our Eagle Scouts and the awards ceremony where they receive their pin. And again, I'd like to call on Steve Scrimshaw to initiate that process.
Can you boys face me, please? Sorry, stand up and face me. I'm sorry. Because of your exemplary character, citizenship, and fitness, you have been judged by the Boy Scouts of America as being worthy of the Eagle rank. Less than 4% of those entering scouting ever earn the right to wear the coveted Silver Eagle. All of those who know you rejoice in your outstanding achievement. With this honor comes responsibility as well. As an Eagle Scout, you've assumed a solemn obligation to do your duty to God, to country, to your fellow Scouts, and to mankind. As an Eagle Scout, you set an example for other Scouts and for the rest of your community. Remember that your actions are now a little more conspicuous and influential. People will expect more of you. To falter in that responsibility would reflect not only on you, but also on your fellow Eagles and on all of Scouting. America has many good things to give you and your children after you, but these good things depend for the most part on the quality of our citizens. Our country has had a great past. You can and will help to make the future even greater. I charge you to be a leader, to lead only towards the best. Do your best at every task you undertake and every office you hold. Inspire those who know you by your example. Be among those who dedicate their skills and ability to the common good. Build the future of America on a foundation of clean living, honest work, unselfish citizenship, and reverence for God. And whatever others may do, you will leave behind you a record of which every other Scout may be justly proud. I now ask you to rededicate yourselves by reciting the Eagle Scout Oath. Resolve to uphold forever its principles with the same ambition and perseverance that have brought you to this moment. Please repeat after me. I reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
Reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of the rank of Eagle Scout.
The obligations and responsibilities of the rank of Eagle Scout.
On my honor, I will do my best
On my honor, I will do my best
to make my training an example,
to make my training an example,
and my rank and my influence strongly count
and my rank and influence strongly count
for better scouting and for better citizenship
for better scouting and for better citizenship
in my troop and in my community,
in my troop and in my community,
and in my contacts with other people.
and in my contacts with other people.
To this, I pledge my sacred honor.
To this, I pledge my sacred honor.
We will now present Jack, Gordon, and Ethan and their parents with their awards. So I'd ask Jack's parents, Jason and Linda, Gary's parents, Gordon and Betsy, and Ethan's parents, Chris and Kerry, to please come forward and stand with each of your scouts. And I think you folks could step down and join your parents.
Loudly, or I can go. I'll try to speak loudly. Fellow Eagles, we now proclaim to the entire world your accomplishment. The symbol of your success is the Eagle Badge, and to your mother goes the honor of pinning the Eagle Badge onto your uniform. Please pin this Eagle Badge, the highest award in scouting, on your son's uniform over his heart. Okay, Scouts, this miniature Eagle badge and rose are for your mother in recognition of her love, comradeship, encouragement, and many hours of patient guidance and her faith in you. Please present them to your mother now. Okay, Scouts, in recognition of the love, wisdom, and guidance given to you by your father, will you now present this eagle pin to your father, which he will proudly wear in your honor?
Ladies and gentlemen of the Troop 1 Sherborn Scouting community, behold our newest Eagle Scouts and the families that shaped them. And now, while they're standing up here, I'd ask if any other mothers of Eagle Scouts are present that they stand. And then I'd also ask any Eagle Scouts present that aren't standing up here. Yeah. And now, because the ceremony has gone for quite a while, you could all stand in place for just a minute, if you would like. Please be seated. Now, a lot of other people have been doing a lot of talking, and these three young men haven't said very much. So it's their turn. And I'd like first to call on Jack Worcester.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Williams. Before I begin, I'd like to thank you all for coming. When I reached the rank of Eagle Scout in January of last year, I would have never expected that I would be making this speech with just a week left in my freshman year of college. But after over a year, it finally happened, and I can't thank you all enough for being here. Scouting for me has been a long journey, filled with many cherished memories and life lessons. And while it would be impossible to fully express what scouting meant to me in these few short minutes, I hope that by sharing a few key moments from along the way, I can do my best. My story in Boy Scouts began where it did for most scouts, as Webelos crossing over at Peters Hill. However, it was not at that outing where I was truly welcomed into the troop. As you may know, most of the Cub Scouts don't fully make the transition to Boy Scouts. So while at my crossover, I was surrounded by my friends who I had known for many years. At a similar campout a couple months later, I was feeling much more alone. However, immediately the older scouts who were running the campout noticed this and they welcomed me over to talk. That simple act of noticing me and helping me out was the start of many friendships I made through scouting that would have never happened had I not joined the troop. A few years later, I had become more familiar with the troop and decided to try my hand at winter camping. As you might expect, there wasn't that many scouts rushing to spend a freezing February night trekking through the snow and sleeping in a tent. If I remember correctly, there was about 5 of us in total. But with not many of us and not much to do in the snow, we built a fire and spent the remaining hours around it. And while I have to admit I was a bit scared when Mr. Mulhall said that he was planning on sleeping without a tent, I can genuinely say that it is one of the conversations that I treasure the most to this day. Skipping forward a few more years, one more time, brings us to the pinnacle of my scouting career, Philmont. After wildfires closed the ranch when we were originally planned to go, we were able to reschedule and soon found ourselves with a 60-mile hike in front of us. And while the entire trip was difficult, after 2 weeks of trekking through the New Mexico wilderness, it was on our final day when we were staring at our biggest challenge yet. The Tooth of Time, a mountain named for its distinctive shape, jutting above the ridge surrounding Philmont's base camp, looms 2,500 feet in vertical elevation, seemingly right above us. Throughout the climb, it seemed like we weren't making any progress at all as we climbed hand over hand with our heavy backpacks weighing us down. but after 4 grueling hours to get to the top, once we made it, we were rewarded with what was by far the best view of our trip. While these stories were short and just a few from the many, I hope that from them you can understand what scouting has meant to me. Before I finish, I'd like to take a minute to thank the many people who helped me on the long road to Eagle. Firstly, the countless scoutmasters, assistant scoutmasters, and other parents of past and current scouts who ran the weekly meetings and outdoor excursions. While the scouts often tout themselves as run by the scouts for the scouts, I think we can all agree that without the help of our adult leaders, the groups of screaming middle schoolers would not be so easily contained. Earlier this year, I stopped by one of my brother's Cub Scout meetings. After seeing the chaos that began the moment the scouts arrived, I can honestly say that I have no idea how you did it. 2 names from the many that I have to mention are Mr. Kennan, who more than anyone helped me week after week in the meetings downstairs, and Mr. Scrimshaw, who in addition to graciously accepting to speak on behalf of me in today's ceremony, was extremely helpful in my senior year, with my college admissions and finishing my Eagle Scout. I'd like to thank Bradley Peterson and Logan Lancaster, who are the only scouts from that crossover who stuck it out to the end with me. And last, but certainly not least, I have to thank my parents for not only guiding me along the way, but often pushing me over the finish line. I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you.
Gordon? Yeah, go ahead. Don't be shy.
Hello. If you don't know my name, it's been only said a couple times. I'm Gordon. And I'd like to thank everyone for being here. I really couldn't have made it without everyone's help. And I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. And thank you, Mr. Keenan, for that amazing speech. It really touched me. Scouts, where do I even begin? At points in my journey to Eagle Scout, there were times that were tough, such as all of 2020. When I was finishing up all the requirements I needed to even think about achieving Eagle. I mean, geez, it's tough to complete the paperwork, but having to stay inside all day and just avoid doing the paperwork, ugh. Achieving Eagle Scout is one of the greatest accomplishments in my life so far. I've learned so much as I progressed through Scouts, and it's incredible. I learned everything from leather work to first aid. Scouts has changed my life for the better. One of my fondest memories of scouting was, of course, camping at Camp Resolute in 2017 and a couple of other years. But 2017 was important to me because it was the year I took whittling, or wood carving, and we learned whittling. And I remember I'd go to my whittling class, and I'd sit down, and I'd whittle for about an hour or so. It was one of the most tranquil and relaxing things I've ever done. It's just you, a piece of wood, and your tools. Of course, by then I knew my knife safety, like blood circles and pushing the knife away from you as to not hurt yourself. So I was, of course, being safe. It's a difficult task to make something from a random stick you find on the ground, but it's something that always feels rewarding when you finish. I carved a gnome. In the same year, my family took a trip to Montana into a very remote part of the state, like all of it. I remember I heard my dad calling my name from the bathroom, so I went over cautiously because I was worried I did something wrong and was in trouble. And I looked through the door, which was partially open, and my dad was standing there holding his thumb in paper towels. My dad had cut his thumb open while whittling. After going to Boy Scout camp and learning that's not a good thing. Often, ever, really. So I helped him get bandaged, and I used some gauze and some medical tape so that the bleeding would stop, and of course I disinfected the wound beforehand. He ended up going to the local Montana hospital, only 4 hours away, and there he got stitches. 3 stitches, I believe. 3, 2, 3. And he learned his lesson about knife safety. That is, of course, until next year when we went to Montana again, and he cut his thumb open again, and he had to drive to the hospital for 4 hours again and get 3 stitches that time again. Yeah. He came back a couple of hours and was fine. Thank goodness I had my first aid merit badge, though. I certainly got good use out of it. But it just goes to show that you always have to be prepared, and that doesn't always just mean to remember to bring your rate and fly for your tent. So many papers. Scouts has taught me a lot about nature, whittling safety, teamwork, and other things. But what it taught a lot of, and I think is definitely one of the most important things, isn't always a class. Well, it is a class, it's a merit badge, 3 specifically, is community. And I think community is probably one of the biggest things I'll take away from Scouts. Community is not just group social meetings, but it's remembering that the people around us are irreplaceable. And I can't stress enough that I've made some amazing friends while scouting and going off to college. It's going to be hard to make friends like that again. People who you can survive for a week with in the mountains of Colorado aren't easy to come by, as it turns out. And I would just like to say thank you all again for being here and being here for us 3. It really means the world.
Ethan, your turn.
Thanks. Thank you for all for coming. So for me, scouting is mostly about all the relationships that I've built with the kids in my troop. All of us, one way or another, we're all different. We do different activities outside, but we all come together on Tuesday nights, and I've become close with all those kids, and some of them become my best friends. So the times that I've had in scouting have brought together some great memories, some better than others. Some can be repeated, some can't. But I just love to share one today. So when I was 15, it was me, Alex, Brendan, and another one of our friends, James. We decided to do the BSA lifeguarding course over the summer at Camp Yagu. So most of the time you go and you do 4 different merit badges, and they have 4 periods. It's kind of like school, but they would never let you think that because it was fun. So you do 4 merit badges, but the lifeguarding course took up all of them. So you were there 6 hours a day, and it was us 4 and another 4 kids from another troop. So on the first day, it was the swim test day. And, I thought that I was a good swimmer. Keyword thought I was a good swimmer. So you go out, you swim a third of a mile, farther than I'd swam in a long time. You treaded water without your arms for a while, and by the end of the day, we were completely beat. So then you go, you have lunch. I think we set the record for most amount of chicken tenders eaten by 4 15-year-old boys ever. We were starving. And so you're outside the whole day. So then they bring us in to do video time. And so they bring you into this room. It's nice and dark. They pull the shades. They shut the lights off. And you're sitting in these super, super comfortable chairs. So you get in there, and they're like, all right, we're going to do some instructional videos. 11 minutes later, our counselor comes in. All right, wake up, guys. Can't be sleeping. And so for the next time, the lights remained on during the instructional videos. Best 11-minute rest of my entire life. I think others can agree. So all these memories in scouting, those being one, just brought together for times where no one else that I would know that has been a part of scouting could ever experience. The times I had in scouting were the best that I've had, and I can share them with many people. Mr. Kennan said it the best, that the relationships and the things in common that I could have with other Eagle Scouts will be things I will never forget. I'd like to thank my fellow Scouts, those who've made it with me, and all the ones that showed up on Tuesday nights for meetings to make it a good experience. I'd like to thank all the troop members, my mother in particular, for doing the advancements. I'd like to thank Dr. Shanahan. She's here in the back. She never gets enough credit for all that she does, but she really helped me continue my Eagle progress. I'd like to thank Mr. Capillion for speaking so greatly on my behalf. And I'd like to thank Mr. Scrimshaw, Mr. Walsh, and Mr. Peterson, who've been 3 great Scoutmasters. So thank you so much for all that you've done.
would like to call your fathers to stand up here. Jason, Jack, and Gordon, these young...
I don't think they're all giving them to their fathers. I don't think they're giving them all to their fathers.
I'm sorry.
They're not necessarily going to their fathers.
I'm sorry, they're going to...
Let them do the pin, called pin for
I thought they were the pin on their body.
Well, it could be someone else. It's probably going to be someone else.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. That's what the script... You all do have mentor pins. Yes. Again, we didn't rehearse this. I think it would be best actually then to do this in order. Yes. So, Jack, would you please present your pin to your mentor? Now, Gordon. Thank you. Now, where are we? We are now back with the presentation of many other citations and honors that have come to these young men, and Jeff Waldron will make the presentations.
So Gordon didn't cue me in. I would have had a totem chip here for Gary if I had known it was called for. I think we could have gotten one. So, as many of you know, one of the I think the coolest parts about the Eagle Award ceremony is they each get a flag that was flown over the U.S. Capitol in Washington, as Representative Linsky mentioned this a while ago. So I'd like to present each of you with a flag from the U.S. Capitol. Jack? Thank you. Congratulations. We're almost there, guys. In addition to this flag, our newest Eagles received congratulations, commendations from a number of individuals, and I think you'll be able to see them in their notebooks downstairs. Included former Presidents George W. Bush, Jimmy Carter, letters from Senator Edward Markey and Elizabeth Warren, Representative Catherine Clark, Governor Charlie Baker, and others that will be included in their Eagle project. So I think we really want to commend you and You've joined many other Eagle Scouts, as you can see in the program, that have preceded you in Sherborn, so you'll always be in there for future years, and we want to thank you again for what you've given to the troop.
Thank you, Jeff. This concludes the formal part of our Eagle Court of Honor. Again, I'd like to thank you all for being here and your consideration of our difficulties. It is the churches and the principles that they espouse that over the years have supported the scouting program. And I would like to ask Father Bill Brown to come and close our ceremony with a benediction. Father?
So congratulations to Jack, Gordon, and Ethan on this special day. And we're going to have a final blessing upon you and upon all of us here today. So let us pray. Good and gracious God, giver of every good gift and the giver of our lives, we thank you for this special day as we have gathered to celebrate the Eagle Scout Court of Honor for Jack, Gordon, and Ethan. Help and bless these scouts to continue to do their duty to serve you, our God, their country, and their neighbor, to live morally upright lives and to reflect your goodness in all they do and who they are. May they use their minds, bodies, and spirits to be the person you have called them to be. Today, we ask you to bless their parents, their families, their friends, and all the people who have been instrumental in their lives to bring them to this special day of honor. All of us are your sons and daughters who you have made in your image and likeness. You call us to reflect that image and likeness in our daily lives and in the service we render one another. Help us always to remember that all is your gift, and whatever we do to the least of our brothers and sisters, we do to you. So on this special day, we ask your blessing upon Jack, Gordon, Ethan, and their families, and we pray all these things in God's name. Amen.
Now, if our color guard will come forward to retire the colors, and as they do, our new Eagle Scouts will lead the troop out, and then I invite all of you cordially to join us downstairs for refreshments.
That's a very good job.
Thank you all. Now please join us downstairs.
No, you're not. the problem.